Hello everyone, I'm Game Stream Machine and this is a Metacritic prediction video. Here are the rules of this video. I will be analyzing games at least 2 weeks before they release. If I am correct in predicting their Metacritic score within 1 point, then I will give away only 1 copy of the game. Otherwise, if I'm outside of the range, I will give away 2 copies of the game. For example, if I predict an 84 for a game, I am still considered right if the game has an 83, 84, or 85 on Metacritic 2 weeks after the game launches. However, there is a small catch. In order for me to give away the games, you need to be a subscriber and you need to post a comment below. In your comment, you need to start it with either I agree or I disagree. If I am right and you agree in the comments below, you will be eligible to win. If I am wrong, then in order to win a copy of the game, you need to have I disagree somewhere in your comment. I will always check the score 2 weeks after the game releases and give away the games by getting in touch with 2 random subscribers who guessed correctly. I may make a video for a review of my prediction where I will also announce the winners of the game in the video description or comments, so be on the lookout for that. So let's get into the game we will focus on in this video, Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out in just over 2 weeks and it's one that I am highly anticipating along with the rest of the gaming community. However, along with the hope I have with the game, I also have some concerns. First, let's start with why I think the game will be good and worth the many years of waiting. The Kingdom Hearts series is one of Square Enix's closely and dearly held series, and considering that Kingdom Hearts 3 will seemingly be the conclusion of the current story arc, hopefully, there is very little doubt in my mind that Square Enix will let the ball drop completely on this game. The proof of that is in some of the gameplay we have seen so far and some of the previews we've read online, which look absolutely incredible, and with the critics and journalists, praising the game and saying it's basically still a Kingdom Hearts game, which is always a good sign. The graphics and art style match so closely with the reference material in each of the different Disney and Pixar worlds that Sora and company visit. It's amazing how the game can go from a brilliant Pixar quality look in the world of Toy Story to a more realistic and gritty look in the Pirates of the Caribbean. In addition to that, the animations, special moves, outfits, and keyblades that surround Sora and his 2 companions seem so passionately created. The pirate ship special, the action figure look in the Toy Story world, and the fact that many of the original movie characters will reprise their role, including Frozen's Anna and Elsa, all make this game seem like it was an honest attempt at a conclusion to the Kingdom Hearts series. Also, it seems like director Tetsuya Nomura has taken a if it's not broken, don't fix it approach to the gameplay, which seems to be a slight evolution of the gameplay systems to the previous Kingdom Hearts games, which should please Kingdom Hearts fans. Honestly, if we didn't see any gameplay up to this point, I would be worried that Kingdom Hearts would turn into a walking simulator thanks to the extremely cinematic approach taken by many modern games. But it seems like Nomura-san didn't want to deviate too much from what makes a Kingdom Hearts game a Kingdom Hearts game. Alright. So, we've gotten through some of the great things to look forward to in this upcoming entry, but I want to mention some of my personal concerns and some of the concerns I've actually read about online. So let's start with the history of the series. The latest PS4 collection of Kingdom Hearts, called Kingdom Hearts The Story So Far, was released in preparation for Kingdom Hearts 3. The collection contains 9 Kingdom Hearts entries, that's right, 9. I bet even some fans who thought they were Kingdom Hearts fans are surprised that there were so many entries released that they may or may not have heard of. If we look at the critical reception of some of these entries, they range from great to not so great. However, the 2 quote-unquote main entries, the original Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, were well received by both critics and fans alike. However, many of the side stories, including those on the 3DS and PSP, were not as well received. Nonetheless, I don't think the series had any games that anyone would consider terrible. It just seems like they tried their hand at a lot of entries, and some attempts were more successful than others. And some games did have different gameplay systems than others as well. However, even though there were many releases of the Kingdom Hearts series, the ones that contained the core gameplay system of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 seem to still do very well with critics and fans. Although some critics may have started to question if the system needed to be rebuilt, thrown away, or simply updated. And this is one area where I have concerns with Kingdom Hearts 3. So Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out almost 13 years after the last major release, Kingdom Hearts 2. and I feel that some may think that the system does not adapt well to the modern times. Having to navigate a submenu mid-gameplay in an era where menus and HUDs are trying to be as unintrusive as possible may cause some questioning of whether the game did enough to keep up with the times. However, this could flip the complete opposite way and be perceived as fun because there really isn't any other game out there with a system like this. So it could be one of those things that people either love or they hate. Personally, I enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 2's combat system, and I look forward to the system in Kingdom Hearts 3, but remember this video is a prediction of Metacritic, which will include the opinions of many critics. One of my other concerns is that there are some parts of the gameplay we have seen where some of the gameplay animations and mechanics look great, but other times they look really dated. For example, in this gameplay from E3, it just seems really cheesy how Sora is able to walk up to climbable walls and just start climbing them, just like that, just by simply walking up to them. Um, and it just seems really artificial. The walls are almost always flat despite being on the side of a mountain or on the side of other structures, and the constant flashing or glowing on the wall to remind the players that they can be walked on seems like a mechanic from the PS2 era. Again, many modern games like God of War and even older titles like Uncharted use some sort of environmental indicators to let you know something can be traversed. But Kingdom Hearts 3 seems to want to remind you it's a video game. Once again, this is one of those things that some people may love and some people may dislike because some people are okay with a game reminding them that it's a game, and some people feel like those mechanics should disappear behind a curtain, never to be seen again. One other thing to mention related to this is that it seems really awkward when Sora is running up the mountain because his animations look like he can either traverse upwards, slightly diagonal, or completely sideways, which I think is kind of disappointing. Because I think it just seems really rigid whenever you start one of those sequences where you're climbing up a mountain. It's either straight up or left and right. But they may have made some updates to this since the footage was shown, which I hope they did. But I'm definitely not going to hold my breath for that. And I also want to mention, that these environments, these glowy, flashy walls show up in other places, like we've seen in the Toy Story gameplay in Andy's room. You can see it in the background there. That looks like that's another climbable wall. One other concern related to the history of the series I have is the story. So listen, I'll admit it, you'll admit it, even the director will admit it. The story in this series is confusing and the dialogue of the English dub is very cheesy. I mean, just look at these trailers.
Hark!
And people who say
Look out!
So what will Elsa accept? Light or darkness? I know I want to know.
Well, good for you, but guess what? I won't let her fall to darkness.
This Keyblade.
Is that?
Mickey, you're too late.
I would be just slightly embarrassed to show these to anybody who's not a Kingdom Hearts fan. Regardless, somehow it is still interesting, or maybe it's just interesting to see how much more confusing it can get and which Final Fantasy or Disney cameos will show up. But I think at some point, and Kingdom Hearts 3 may very well be that point, people have to stop and come to an agreement that no one person can fully comprehend what is happening in this series. Kingdom Hearts 3 just may be the last series in the current arc, and it may or may not lead to the start of another arc. But if it does close out the current arc, I'm just wondering if it will be able to do that without confusing everyone even more or leaving giant plot holes. Again, this is one of those things that may be perceived well or may not, but I really don't think there's a middle ground here in terms of whether you do or don't like the story in the Kingdom Hearts series. I feel like for the Kingdom Hearts series, you really have to suspend your disbelief, and I also believe that some of the characters in the games most likely have to have a suspension of disbelief, as I see a lot of ridiculous things happening to them and those around them. I personally find it enjoyable, but it may be a hit or miss for some critics, but I do think it is something that will sway a lot of critics in terms of evaluating this game positively or negatively. One last concern I have for this game is from a more technical perspective. First, the game was announced June 2013 and it has been in development officially for over 5.5 years. In addition to that, the game has switched engines 2 times. According to Wikipedia, the game was initially prototyped and had some development work in Unreal Engine 3. Next, the game moved into development using the in-house Luminous Studio engine, which was used for Final Fantasy 15. And then finally, about a year into development, the executives in Square Enix decided the game should use Unreal Engine 4, and this move led to, accordingly, extensive delays and a bit of time that needed to be rewinded and started over, according to director Tetsuya Nomura. Typically, whenever games move to a different game engine, especially if the studio did not make any games with that engine before, as is the case with Square Enix, there's usually a pretty big learning curve, and sometimes this is clearly obvious in the final product, but other times things go smoothly. Nevertheless, any developer will tell you that there's definitely a challenge when a new engine is used, and hopefully Kingdom Hearts 3 has been able to overcome those challenges. So far, though, the game looks absolutely gorgeous, and to be honest, if you didn't tell me that this game was made in Unreal Engine 4, I would have never guessed. And that's just because I've noticed that a lot of games that use Unreal Engine 4 tend to sometimes have a grittier or grainier look to them, or have textures loading on objects right in front of the player, which I haven't seen too much of so far in Kingdom Hearts 3. Actually, I haven't seen any of that. So maybe Square Enix was able to get a firm grasp of the powerful Unreal Engine 4. Overall, though, it's hard to deny the buzz surrounding Kingdom Hearts 3, and I will definitely be picking up a copy and playing it through myself. However, the point of this video was to analyze and predict Kingdom Hearts 3's Metacritic score, and after considering it, I predict that Kingdom Hearts 3 will have an 84 on Metacritic 2 weeks after its release, which is slightly lower than Kingdom Hearts 2's 87 and the original Kingdom Hearts 85. So, if you want to win a digital copy of the game on the platform of your choice 2 weeks after it comes out, let me know in the comments below whether or not you agree with me, and also let me know why, because I'm definitely interested to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, please like and subscribe to see more in-depth previews of upcoming games, and let me know in the comments below what other games you want me to predict a Metacritic for. Thanks, and see you soon.